Kavan, welcome brave souls. I'm your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are back with our Star Trek Adventure Broken Sword campaign. We are in the midst of some genuinely spooky games, or we're now technically into the Spooks giving season, you could say, as we get into part 2 of our current episode, titled Woe Begone. Before we get started and recap, there are, of course, the obligatory mentions for fellow players we have on the channel who also stream and whose links you can check out in the description of the video. We'll start in ascending order on our list and ask about what our good friend, the OverlandGamer, is doing right now. Joe, what have you got going on your channels?
Well, we just finished up the main storyline up to nuclear option for Fallout 4, and we're kind of in the midst of getting ready for the Fallout for Hope campaign that starts next week sometime, the 14th, I believe it is, where streamers from all around the world get together to help raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which is kind of a really good cause. We've been doing it since 2020, and it's just a bunch of Fallout fans getting together to do some good for the kids that are sick and the families that are having to deal with that. Because Lord knows I'd hate to have that happen to my kid. I know other people that have had some good stuff with St. Jude, so it's good to kind of pay it forward. But we'll be doing some writing streams for Fallout 2D20 coming up. So yeah, some exciting Fallout things coming.
Certainly. Well, it's all good, and it's a good and welcome cause, and I would say definitely check that out, as well as Fallout for Hope. As I understand it, it extends not simply to anyone streaming the Fallout video games, but the 2D20 Fallout as well.
Yep, we've got cosplayers that participate in it. We've got there's a Fallout general store that's popped up down in what is it Las Vegas. That's getting a lot of popularity. So it's not just streamers or video games. It's the whole everything.
I in part note the tabletop game because Modifius, the same people behind Star Trek Adventures, also made the Fallout system. So it's another 2D20 system worth checking out. Pivoting away on that, we also have our other player and streamer, one Caligo, who streams over at the Xyla OXO channel. Tell me, Caligo, anything special going on the channel? Are we still painting orcs over there?
I'm still painting orcs. God, too many orcs. I need a break from orcs.
It's November. It's not It's not Orktober anymore.
Yeah, these are the leftovers from October.
So now it's Orknember.
To be fair, if the orcs believe it's still October, doesn't it become still October?
They lost the calendar. They're not keeping track.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that the painting streams are still enjoyable, and that we see many an orc still, and that in between, treat yourself to some gaming, and your audience, and anyone else who wants to check out. Which I'd recommend anybody wanting a little bit of variety gaming. There's always some fun stuff over there.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into the game here and start off with a recap of the recent events, which have been quite momentous for a long-lost crew member, specifically the ship's security officer by the name of Woe. An 8-foot-tall Kzinti woman, she has been missing for some months from the crew of the Yon after she had been abducted by other Kzinti. These, as she knew, and as some of you had passing awareness or had guessed, there was a previous crew that she had been a part of, and that had effectively come to take her away. In captivity, she has suffered greatly under the torture of her former compatriots. Woe, however, was finally rescued by the crew of the Yon, her old shipmates. She has, after so many months held and tortured and brought back, and well, time has been something of a difficulty for her to perceive, but perhaps days, weeks, she's not entirely certain. As they've gone by, she has steadily recovered. She has been met with warm greetings and a pleasant reunion with all abound. As part of this habit, she had gone back to... she's been going back to try and do things that steadied her, things that were part of the normal routine. And one of those had been a sparring match. At least that's what she thinks she had done. For as we find her here, she awakes from... she is awoken in her bed, which we will use theater of the mind for. But suffice to say, the dream was deeply disturbing. For she made her encounter. She had Woe had indeed sparred a bit with Raldar in an empty version of the cargo bay, and seemed to have been pretty soundly beaten back on the initial rounds, but something felt different, and as she prepared for the next engagement, another voice took over, another form. Gazin very familiar, but much more enraged. She forced Woe to step aside, and the Gazin, with virtually no effort, completely slashed and just destroyed the her compatriot's throat, just clawing up, slicing through his neck and up through the jaw, leaving Raldar dead on the grounds of the cargo bay, and leaving Woe to dispose of the body. It was a very disturbing situation, but one she is thankful that she is not dealing with, although as she wakes up, as she gets her bearings in her quarters, there's the sound of a shipwide alert. Klaxon, familiar from combat and security situations past. Something that has not been... that has not left your head from those many months of service. So, Woe, I will ask, in your present condition, where would you be... what would you be wanting to do?
Okay, so she wakes up in a cold sweat to the sound of the alert, or shortly thereafter the alert happens. I would like her to immediately open up communications with the captain.
All right. You make your way over to the nearby door intercom. Say there might be a wrist communicator about somewhere, but you might not yet be in the habit of putting that back on. What with the still slightly tender bits of flesh from where you had been previously bound. But suffice to say, pressing the button, you hear the familiar slight voice. This is the bridge. Hello, Wo.
Where's the captain? What's going on?
I have him up here. I'm actually explaining the situation. We are having some system difficulties. Well, I am trying to.
Oh, wait. With that, she does not look
You're cut. You're cut.
and immediately leaves the intercom to throw on the Kazindi. Oh, fuck. How bad am I cutting out right now?
I just thought it was. For a moment, it seemed like you were cutting out a bit, but it actually seems to have cleared up.
Okay. Like I said, she does not stay for the rest of Opry. She's ready to. She says she's going on her way, and she's getting the Kazindi equivalent of pants on and running to the bridge.
No. So, you bound through the halls, Woe, making your way with I'd say the equivalent of effectively a sports sort of wear, or something that you, just like the equivalent of like a t-shirt and, basic pants, like something of that sort. But
Yeah, she's rocking clothes from the day before.
yes. Hunched through the low corridors of the yawn, you stride your way up to the bridge, reflexively kicking at the door as it, or before it has a chance to open. You thought you remembered these bending a little bit or pounding a divot into them, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe your memory was faulty. Maybe you're still recovering just a bit. But for now, as you come onto the bridge, you look around and you see the familiar faces. Vopry is at the sensors console. Tabak, I'm going to say that because there are some crucial things going on with the ship that you would not like, I would imagine over Vopry's shoulder would make the most sense. Cheshire will take the captain's chair, lazily sitting back there. Dekoth, Bahan, and Azik are at other stations. If anyone else would like to be in the, if anyone else would like to be on the bridge, then they have that option. And if they don't immediately see the point, or if it may be a case where Tabak hasn't called them yet, or people just wait to show. At this point, Vopry is like looking over a screen that is completely static on his display, and like just darting between the console. Woe, as you come in, you kind of see Vopry in the middle of this conversation. I still don't understand it, Captain. Internal sensors appear to have failed completely. It appears that there's some error locked in a diagnostic mold. Nearest log I have suggests that Laldar was working on it, but I have not been able to raise him. Gatsha says he is not in the reactor pit.
Woe comes trundling over and stands next to the captain. What's going on?
We're having a problem with internal sensors, and Raldar is not where he's supposed to be.
Does anyone want to look?
I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you, Woe. Something beeped on the bridge. Could you say that again?
I said, has anyone gone to look for him yet?
No, I was just told he was missing. You want to go look for him? Go look for him, please.
She's really tight around the mouth, and she nods once and goes off to look for him. She does not want this to be what it is.
From the navigation slot, or seat, Bahan looks over to Azik, just... How do you misplace an 8-foot-tall reptilian man like that?
It's actually happens more often than you'd think.
Oh, Azik, I must say I don't understand you. I feel like you might be the death of me one day. But yeah. Well, you leave the bridge amidst this little exchange here. Where do you want to go?
I'm gonna have her immediately go to the last place she dreamed he was. Let's go to the cargo bay.
All right. You wind up going down, taking the left. I'll momentarily put us in the corridor set just to help the transition here. If anyone wants to encounter woe in the cargo, or rather in the corridor, then I'll leave that as an option. Otherwise, at this point, woe, you would just stride down from the front of the ship, where the bridge lies, towards the lifts that will take you from the main deck to the subdeck. At that lowest level of the ship lies the cargo segments, the lowest level of the reactor pit, and as far as your dream is concerned, an empty cargo space in particular where you remember briefly engaging in a sparring match, but surely that couldn't be right.
So I'm having trouble with Roll20, but can I do like an insight check? Or look around?
Well, let me bring you into the cargo bay. So once you traverse the corridor through a little bit of the subdeck, the door opens and you find yourself in a very full cargo bay. You kind of have to check yourself for a moment because you remember distinctly that this room was empty. It was rather bothersome, actually, to have seen it that way. It didn't comport with what you would expect or how you would remember it. But sure enough, the cargo bay appears quite well stocked right at this time, with various crates of different sizes, all abound, filling the room. There's certainly no place for the mat that you had left out. Or, well, no, that wouldn't have been left out if memory serves. The dream saw Raldar be rolled up and ejected, or beamed out, something of the sort.
All right, she sags against the doorway in relief, since this is clearly just some kind of computer malfunction, because otherwise this would look completely different. She goes to hunt down Crooker, as he has ways of dealing with things.
Very well, very well. Well, let's see. Well, Ray, in this situation, I'll give you the choice of deciding whether you want this to be, if you want Croker to be in his usual post, or if you want to catch him in the mess hall. What would you prefer? Transporter room, mess hall?
Transporter room, please.
Gotcha. All right. And would you prefer to talk to yourself, or would you like me to take over for Croker?
Hang on, I can't hear you.
Oh, I figure that's the best way to go about it. Yeah, Sean.
Hello?
We can hear you.
We hear you.
Here, somebody. Well, I'll type it out. But you, for some reason, Ray cannot hear us. But if I can,
I hear some of you, but you're really far.
that's unusual. And it does.
I'm on my phone because my computer is messed up, which is why my sound is going to be awful.
Yeah. Maybe disconnect and reconnect there, Ray.
Aha. Aha. With the cunning use of twisting the core, I can now hear you.
Oh, good.
Hello.
Ah,
Hey there,
Okay.
Ray. So,
I
off to the
did not hear.
transport. That's quite all right. I've decided I can take over Croker unless you absolutely want to talk to yourself.
No, you can have her.
Very well. So you open the door and see Croker standing at the transporter station, hand running through his luxurious hair. I will say, if you want to chime in with Betty at all, then that is all you, because I cannot do Betty.
I cannot believe that you cannot do better, but that's fine. I can do that.
Hello, Woe. Good to see you this. Good to see you this morning.
No time for pleasantries, mate. Let's go ahead. I need you to do me a big favor. Can you do internal sensor scans and try and find Ralda?
Well, I'll see what I can do here. I understand internal sensors are off, but I got it. You want me to use? You want me to see if I can use the targeting sensors on the transporter and try to get a lock on Raldar's signature?
Yes. Thank you for understanding my brain.
Give me a moment. He presses the comms. Sweetheart, I had a brilliant idea. I'm going to use the targeting sensors on the transporter to attempt to locate Raldar.
how many times have I told you to not talk to me like that?
Yes, dearest.
God, I forgot I had him do
I
that.
swear I'm going to kill that man.
I hope this is like a ship-wide communication that everyone can hear.
Just about everything is at this point.
Oh God.
It's such a small ship, I could yell down the corridor to the engine room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was about that time that Tabak knew something was wrong, because he just cried down the hallway, Raldar! And didn't hear back. Okay.
And he used his angry dad voice too. Like,
Yep.
The angriest
Yeah,
of
I mean, I
dogs.
used his full government name and he didn't answer.
Oh wow. What is even his full government name?
It's hard to
Raldar,
pronounce.
Raldar.
It's hard to pronounce, really.
Okay.
Tabak can do it. I can't.
Yep.
I don't have the vocal apparatus for that.
While we're broadcasting on Shipwide here, Croker runs that. This doesn't make any sense. I'm using the transporter. I'm using the targeting sensors and trying to get a lock. I only see 2 Gorn biosigns on the ship. One of them looks like it's up in the compartment where... it's up in that compartment where we got that thing chained up. The other one's in sickbay, it looks like.
She's
Scan.
now her heart is sinking because this is not okay.
Take a hand scanner, look for any genetic material on board the ship, and check it for deterioration. We can pretty much figure out how long ago, as long as we can find some sort of trace. There's nothing in the transporter buffer, is there?
No, it looks as though this transporter hasn't been used since the last time I brought you and the away team up.
Check the buffer for the cargo transporters. It's a long shot, but do it.
Anything for you.
I love when you play Croker so much. It's so good.
Croker clicks off the intercom system. I'd better go down and take a look at the. I'd better go down and take a look at the cargo transporters, and I guess Get out a hand scanner. This is going to be a long day.
All right, and with that, we're Will goes to get a hand scanner if she doesn't have one.
Yep.
Yes.
Croker, I imagine that there's a compartment that has some engineering equipment or some of the basic sort of equipment, and if nothing else, there is something for when boarding parties are dispatched, like a little emergency armory and other items for standard away team equipment. So he could give you a scanner without any problem.
Excellent. All right, she snatches it and begins walking through the corridors.
Okay. So let's see. Croker, you and Croker head on out and begin exploring. I won't necessarily have you roll a task for this, although I will ask: is Woe starting from the top of the ship? Is she heading towards the? Is she heading towards the bottom with Croker as well?
Yeah, she's just going to go room by room from where she is working down.
Okay.
She is now kind of avoiding the cargo bay because now it feels too realistic.
Yeah. It does feel very weird, very distinctly strange as the absence of the sudden absence of a crew member like that. It's not something that happens on a ship out in deep space, and particularly with as disturbing as things were the previous night. There's something uncanny, something deeply strange, and dare say haunting. But yeah, you head on down and run your scans throughout the ship. The yawn continues at warp these next few hours, unless the captain should order otherwise. But your search, is largely fruitless. So I think, unless you would like to see anyone else, or unless anyone would like to interject a scene here, then...
I don't know if a scene's needed, but as soon as sensors would have gone down, while Woe is avoiding the cargo base, Zional would have gone straight to the cargo base to make sure that nobody's trying to steal his stuff.
Very good, very good.
But I don't know if that requires a scene or not. He's just
going
through all of his stuff down there.
I don't think it is. I think that I think that I dare say you would even arrive at well, you probably beat Croker down there, or you may have all been there and back even before anyone realized what was going on. So, I guess then, we should cut ahead to the report in. The end of the ship that you try to examine does not appear to have any recent sign of Raldar. There are indeed, there's some residual, traces that he would have left behind. I will confess I don't know whether Gorn shed their skin whole, though. I think we've established that kind of with the lore, at least implied it with some of Kressik's logs. So I don't think he necessarily flakes off skin in the same way, or, there's no fur to speak of in that case. But there are obvious signs that Raldar has been throughout the ship in the past day and some time before that, but nobody's entirely... rather, nothing you see suggests the most recent point. So we'll take it up ahead to when you go in to report. I think that probably mean meeting up with Tabak. Tell me, Sean, would you have everybody come up to the bridge? Would you have tasked other people to help out with this?
I would have waited for a report from Woe. I figure if she wants to hop in the saddle, we'll let her do it until she needs help.
I gotcha.
So
some time will elapse, and you get the report that or like you run through you've run through all the rooms that you were going to. Croker is taking care of the rest of them as well as finishing up his diagnostic. So I'm going to put you all of you back on the bridge where you come in. Let's just to expedite things. Let's have Croker up there as well. So let's see. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Did you have any better luck?
No, I couldn't find anything. Nothing recent. Nothing substantial.
Wow.
He's simply not here. Captain, I did want to talk to you about something though, and it might be relevant.
Well,
I dreamt that Rolda died, and I cleaned up the mess. And then I woke up in my bed. It seemed so real, but since waking up, all signs point to it didn't happen.
I can say I would be surprised at that. The freshest reading I have from him is sometime last night. But it seems that I didn't see any readout that would suggest you were down there.
where did this supposedly happen in your dream?
The cargo bay. We were sparring, and I got angry, and then something else happened, and he was dead.
Which cargo bay? One or two?
Which cargo bay were we in?
Let's call Cargo Bay 2 the starboard one.
Cargo bay 2.
Then that couldn't have happened. It's an old Earth expression that I picked up with the cats. There's not enough room to swing a cat around down there. There's no way you could have been sparring in that cargo hold.
But that's where we've been sparring all along, Captain.
That cargo hold is full. Or at least far too full to be holding sparring practice. So
How long has it been full?
Months. We've been doing some runs while we've been looking for you.
Yeah. She's once again slightly relieved, but does not feel like she's relieved, but still feels nauseous. All right. Well, it's a hell of a coinkydink. Where else? What else do you think might have happened? Is there any other way we haven't thought of to track him?
Well, I was going to say, I did as you asked on the on the cargo transporter. It looks as though the buffers have been purged sometime recently, but I can't quite discern exactly when the access was. It seems as though it looks as though Raldar might have been working on something in there. I've seen some mild signs of some sort of scorings, some sort of energy signature I couldn't read.
You're telling me you can't read the transport log?
I'm saying that sorry, I get so flustered around you, my dear. if anything happened more recently, then no. But it seems as though I don't know, some sort of strange energetic system, maybe an overload or malfunction somewhere. Maybe he was working on something and it caused an issue, but I don't know. Point is, transporter.
So you're picking up an odd energy trace.
There's more like some residual bit from the. There's a bit of scoring on a plate down there that I didn't notice that seemed odd.
Woe's eye twitches. Captain?
You talking about? Is it on the deck? Is it on the ceiling? Is it on the wall? Is it on the console? Is it on the pad? Where's the scoring?
It's on a wall. It's actually further away, kind of in one of the back corners.
Captain,
Yes.
when
Yes,
you
well.
rescued me, how many people... Who did you kill?
How many people did we kill?
Yeah.
I didn't keep track of everybody. I got the one that was guarding you and maybe 2 others.
How many of them do you think were Kazin?
Of the ones that I killed, they were all Kazin.
Any of them look like me?
Whoa, you're going to think me a horrible person. They all look like you. You all look alike. If I'm not spending enough time to discern which is you. They were all 2 meters plus, covered in orange fur with stripes.
I don't have orange fur, Captain. I have white fur, you fuck.
Well, then, obviously none of them were you.
Alright. Alright.
Can't believe
It's
the
entirely possible you may have missed someone, Captain. Someone vicious, someone cruel, and someone that may have tracked you down. We need to scour the ship, and we need to keep our shields up. Now. Can she move to the tactical, whatever it's called? I can't think.
The tactical display, yes. Or tactical
Yes,
console.
and I'm going, can I raise shields and, arm weapons?
Yep. As minor actions, you are able to raise the shields and see that weapon systems are on a standby, are standing by, and yeah, you're able to bring them to an active state.
She looks at the captain. You need to go on red alert. We are not safe.
What do you have on scanners?
Nothing yet. I'm not worried about it. As far as being outside the ship, this is just a precaution. I think they're on the ship.
Take Zynel and Croker, go through the whole ship, section by section. Kill anybody you don't recognize. Or who shouldn't be here if you do recognize them.
She nods and grabs Croco's shoulder. And I guess where's Zynel on all this? Is he on the deck?
No, unless he needs to materialize from a back corner, as he
Let
often
him
does.
materialize, please. I love when he does that.
Okay. Well, I just made sure that everything was accounted for in the cargo bay.
Great. Now you can You can come with us as we go check it again.
The whole ship, not just the cargo bay.
We're starting in the cargo bay.
And what exactly are we looking for?
Another me. With that, she just lumbers forward.
Well, good morning to you too.
Let's see. So, Woe, as you take the two crew members and begin searching through the ship. Let me think here. Would there be any particular areas that you want to prioritize, that you want to visit? Is there anything that calls you somewhere in particular?
Is there any way to use my abilities to check on that? Or Lionel's ability? What kind of abilities
Lionel is in
that?
fact an empath.
Wow. Useless.
Not
Okay.
entirely.
So
He can
useless.
sense. He can sense. He can sense beings' emotions, which means that he could sense,
Someone who's full of rage.
or someone who is not supposed to be there. Additional life signs. You know, it's useful.
Great, we're gonna use you like a sniffer dog. We're gonna even have a leash for you. Alright.
That's good. I appreciate not having a leash. Profitable seduction, not just regular seduction. Thank you very much.
Oh my god.
I'm usually the one holding the leash.
Oh my god. Alright.
So,
We're pushing Zynel to the front and we're having him sense if we can find our intruder.
okay. Zional, I'd be willing to let you run an insight check if you would like.
Insight and command?
Yes. Tell me, is there anything in particular that you would want to look for?
So I'm doing two things. Obviously, my superior officer has asked me to search for life signs that and emotive states of life signs that should not be here. But I am also, one of my traits is intelligence agent, and so I'm also, when I can, checking on our fearless Kazin's emotive state to try to see if this is all just a ruse or an act. After all, when I first met her, she was playing the part of a killer pirate queen.
Fair enough. So basically, you are searching for murderous intent amongst
Yes.
anyone here, your crew
Yes.
included.
I don't think any of my focuses would really apply here. Equipment requisition, negotiation, assassination, and profitable seduction.
Yeah, I don't think it works in this situation.
Alrighty. What's the difficulty?
Well, let's see. I'm going to set the difficulty on this. Since you're trying to pick up from across the ship, I think that would be a little more difficult. So let's maybe raise this to a difficulty 2. You are practiced enough to where you know to sort of feel out most of the feel and filter around most of the emotions, but it's I think that it still takes just a moment of concentration, and it's a big enough ship. It's not so crazy. If that makes sense.
Gotcha. Can I spend a point of momentum to get a third die, everybody?
Sure.
Go for it. Do it.
Let's see. Insight and command. Yeah. Okay.
All right, that is 3 points of success on a difficulty 2 roll. This means you get back a point of momentum for a total of 4 in your pool. Zional, reaching out, you feel for what you would expect to be for the lingering hostile emotions. You're searching around. At first, there's the more immediate press, which I'd say, whoa, I don't think that you'd be necessarily you wouldn't be broadcasting out anything that sort of hostile. Would that be fair to say? Would you want to speak to her present state of mind?
She is terrified. Very much so. And she is feeling a sense of confusion as well. But mostly she's trying to keep it behind a stone wall of control.
No. I'd say that, I suppose I technically could have had you contest. We'll just say that, Zional, you're a precise enough operator to recognize some of these and the feeling of someone desperately trying to, keep those feelings down, as it were, but you don't... she doesn't feel like somebody that would murder and disappear a fellow crew member right offhand. So let's see. As you try to reach out, you don't feel anything north of the on the deck immediately, though you do hear a fair bit of typing. Sean, if you would care to just mute yourself on that, it's picking up.
Sorry.
Quite all right.
I could barely hear it.
These ships are clickety clackety old things.
Yes, they are.
I could barely hear it. I'm sorry.
Let's see. So, Zional, as you try to reach out, you feel from deck to deck there are feelings, emotions, the general sense of a rhythm of a crew that you would generally be used to. All of which is, the occasional bits of discomfort, the strange, in some cases uncharacteristic, bright sensations from someone like Azek or Traven. However you want to interpret Kressik's mental state generally. Irritation from Kelsha now that she is working on her own in the engine room. There's probably some other trepidation around the ship, but most wouldn't show it. But you do, as you stretch to your limit, you feel some semblance of murderous intent, something a little more primal on the upper decks. Now, this one is more familiar, one you understand well.
This is Zional to anyone who is listening, as he hits his wrist communicators. Ship-wide. There is definitely something here. In the upper sections of the ship. And I think it wants to kill us.
Oh. Wait, Are we talking up like on the crew deck? And is it in the closet? Can you tell me? Is it in the closet?
I'm not a GPS. That was others that I knew could maybe.
You're not a
target things
galactic
little more.
positioning system?
Exactly. I can't tell you exact coordinates. Those were others that I used to work with that could do that. But I can tell you general ideas. But the good news is, Woe's not trying to kill us.
Never thought she was.
It pays to check your back sometimes.
Woe gives him the stink eye. Thanks for the reassurance, there, mate.
It's what I'm here for.
Well, I can't think of anything besides that thing we have in the emptied out supply closet upstairs.
Junior?
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that what
anyone
it
fed
is?
him yet? The primal nature of it does suggest it is probably Dar, or Junior, as some call it. Roldar has been the one to primarily call him Dar, and he's not here to correct you.
Or to feed him.
We didn't check Dar's room, did we?
I didn't go in there.
She pinches the bridge of her nose. Let's go check Dar's room for all that.
Gotcha. Alright. So, well, you head upstairs, up to the crew deck, where in a closeted area, a mutant clone who had very nearly viciously mutilated Traven and had, given the opportunity, would have eaten him, resides. We'll place it immediately outside. We'll place you immediately outside the room. Are you bringing Zionol and Croker? Do you want anyone else along? Does anybody else want to come along? Player
Zionol will stay outside the room. He's not going to go into the room.
Alright, I guess Croker probably wouldn't want to go get his nails wet.
My secondary character doesn't even appear to be here, so.
Yeah.
Somebody could bring Dekoth if they'd like. Remember Dekoth?
I remember he died.
Remember to cough.
Hashtag remember to cough.
That was the pirate, right?
No, that was Bahan.
Aw.
Bahan is here
Dekoth,
too.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Dekoth was the
guy with the endless
guy
amount of
whose
broken
death.
ribs.
Yeah, the guy who kept breaking ribs. The guy whose death was the thing that broke Kelshaw and pushed her over the edge into villainy.
I'll go with whoever.
Yeah, he made the joke earlier about, no, doctor, you don't have to check. All my ribs are fine.
Yep. And everyone had a good laugh. Those were better times.
Season 1.
Okay, seriously though, I will take whoever is willing to follow. Otherwise, I will head to Dar's room just straight from the unison of people going, "No, we didn't check Dar."
Yep. Who wants to? Who the players would like to be involved?
Like I said, Zionol is there staying outside just in case things go south. But he's just a little boy. He's not going to go toe to toe with a killer clone.
Fair enough. Joe, do you want to bring Azek or Dekoth along?
Azek's too busy at the helm.
Fair enough. Do you or does anybody want to cough?
No, nobody wants to cough, mate.
No.
I want to. Isaac wants to kill him again, but
Isaac
No,
didn't kill Dukoff.
That's Bahan.
That's behind. You guys need to get this right.
yet
I also miss Bahan. Y'all did him dirty.
I
Azek.
miss, I
That
miss
was beautiful.
behind too.
That was so beautiful.
I
Isaac did
also
a beautiful
miss
thing that
Bahan.
day.
So mean.
All right, I guess it's me and Zinal heading towards the Dar's room.
Okay. Let's see. I have placed. Okay. Yep. I am on the wrong map. That's what it is. All right. So, Woe, you and Zional arrive outside the room. Croker just happens to be passing that way because he's going back to the transporter room until he can be useful again.
All right, you stay here. I'm gonna go in and see what's going on. If you hear lots of screaming, please do something.
Daniel pulls out a knife. Then a second knife. Possibly a third.
You don't.
She nods in respect and then goes through the door.
The room is very dimly illuminated, Woe. This little more than a light cargo compartment for surplus material is... Honestly, it's a bit unpleasant. Because it's familiar.
She shudders a bit.
Between the odors of food and probably some waste about the clinking of chains in the darkness and a bit of a rumble in the far end. This place doesn't feel so good. What does Dar do? How would you say
Dar. Yes.
What would you say Dar is up to right now in his room?
He was probably laying down, gnawing on a bone, because he's late. Dinner's late.
I thought he was going to be, as the kids say, hitting the gritty while no one was looking.
I don't want to know what that means, so shut your mouth.
Kill him. I want him banned from the server. It's not enough to shame him. Kill him.
Oh my god.
Alright. I'm not chewing on a bone, but when he hears the sound of the door opening, he sort of looks up, half sits up, over expectingly.
No. This is not the one that usually brings you the bucket.
Does Woe have a bucket?
Woe does not have a bucket. Woe has only sadness and the threat of tears at the sight of something way too familiar to her. She takes a step forward and eyes your chains. How tight are those chains?
They're decently loose.
Okay.
Which is an achievement given that Dar is essentially a bulked out version of Raldar.
Yeah, so he's like bigger than Woe? Is he bigger than Woe? Pretty sure he is.
Right now, he could definitely overmatch you, Woe. He is... compared to Raldar, he is a wild beast, undisciplined, and more likely to strike with brute force. But he is also significantly stronger.
Food.
You want some food? When's the last time you ate? Do you understand me?
He
She takes
He
Oh, sorry.
grabs like one of the buckets by him and just like just sort of half throws, slides it across the floor towards the door.
She cocks her head and slowly, like maintaining eye contact as she reaches for the bucket to make sure he doesn't lunge, picks up the bucket. I can get you some food. But let me ask you something. Have you seen your... She struggles to find the word. Original?
He sort of cocks his head in confusion.
Yeah, she struggles some more. Your counterpart. No, that word's too big. Your progenitor. No, that's getting bigger. Jesus Christ. Your father. Have you seen your father?
No.
Yeah. You sure? She looks around the tiny room, hoping for Walter to pop out from behind Dar.
He bring food, not
When was the last time he brought you food?
long time.
Long time. She nods, absentmindedly turns to open the panel. Are you... She turns back around. Are you okay in here? You don't look okay.
What's okay?
She struggles some more. Are you, are you hurting? Are you in pain?
He shakes his head no.
She nods. Good. 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 Okay. Good. She turns back around with the bucket and goes to greet Zynel with the update of there's nobody in there but that giant lizard.
Well, everybody, as he's still talking into, he's had his risk communicator on the whole, like this whole time. Ever since he got put alone with Woe in this group, his communicator has been on to the whole ship.
My God, the fact that he's just live tweeting to the group chat.
It's not paranoia if they're actually trying to kill you.
Oh my God. Okay.
Uh,
She walks out and shoves the bucket in his hand.
He
You get
does
to
have a
feed him.
point.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a point. I just think it's funny.
I'm just saying, if Raldar had at least had a comm system open, we might have at least heard something before sensors went down.
How would he have known to leave the comm center since
I'm just saying, it's
We're
time
not.
that we all do that until this problem has been solved.
And how would that work? We would be filled listening to each other talk constantly. Maybe she pinches the bridge of her little cat nose once more. Is there any way to have it respond to certain sounds specifically, like screams?
I'm a merchant, not an engineer.
They're not engineers, Don. Great. Well, you're on bucket duty. That one's hungry. With that, she hands him the bucket and walks to the captain.
No,
And he begins to make his way over to the mess hall to get bucket material, bucket brigade.
yeah. Tabak, would you prefer to stay on the bridge, or would you prefer a different space? Particularly now that you have other puzzles like the cargo bay.
I'm happy to stay on the bridge for right now.
No, gotcha. Let's move things back to the bridge and just remove Zional, who just leaves an after image where every so often. Good way to trick the people coming for you. Yeah. Let's see. So, well, you make your way back to the bridge and find Tabok still there. Vopri is just trying to input commands into his console. I do not understand why, Captain, but internal sensors have not been responding. I do not know how to bring it out of its current malfunctioning loop. They may take more time to... I don't know. See if there is a processor that is malfunctioning or other errors. It will take time to correct or to even determine where it is.
Mr. GM, is there anything within my vast engineering knowledge that might help me break the system out of whatever diagnostic cycle it's stuck in?
I mean,
A form of Klingon percussive maintenance, perhaps.
I mean, you can try to smack the console, but I don't think that's going to do much. You're probably going to need to get a bit more in the weeds with this. It depends on where the problem might be. If there's some problem at like in a subprocessor somewhere, perhaps if the main computer is causing the errors, if there is a sensor node or something of the sort that is malfunctioning.
Okay, well, the ship's computer is directly below the bridge, and there is a hatch in the floor behind the consoles, behind the captain's chair, that is the maintenance hatch to get down to the computer.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm going to grab a toolkit, pop open that hatch, and I'm going to go find the source of the problem down in the computer.
All right. So Tabak is going to pop down that hatch. You're going to actually catch sight of him. Just as he heads down. Vopri turns around. Hello, I don't suppose you had any better luck.
Unfortunately, no. Although he's quite hungry. He says his father hasn't been there for some time. Well, I think he said long time, but it just kind of sounded like gobbling.
I do not know how they sound. I keep away from them.
Well, they sound kind of like me, but less throaty.
Okay. I don't. If you need to report to the captain, I have. He is inspecting the main computer core, being certain to.
She looks. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Trying to spot the error with sensors.
She looks at where the captain dove down into. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna fit in there. She clutches the side of her head briefly. Just there's a small pang of pain before it immediately recedes. Just tell him to meet me in his quarters. All right.
Okay.
With that, she goes, I'm gonna go to the dock. I'm gonna see what's going on with my head.
Sure thing, Wall.
Thank you for crying. And she pats his head very gently. No claws.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he still shrinks down just a little bit, but they are soft. It is still soft, so he's okay. He is as okay as he would be under any circumstance, which is to say, he's perpetually in a state of mild anxiety.
Aren't we all?
Sure enough. Well, you find your way towards sickbay. And Kresik, what have you been up to today?
Kresik has been working on his little projects here and there, and just kind of listening to the rest of the ship give all these status updates, and kind of trying to formulate in his mind potential ideas as to how it could have happened or what could have happened. Just idle, keeping his mind busy as he's doing his work, keeping his area functional and working on his little side projects.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yep. Kresik, you see your Kazinti friend walk through the door. Well, yeah, you see it is yours.
Oh, there's something going on with my head. It's starting to make me sick. Can you examine me really quick?
Yes. Sit down.
She does so.
I have your approval
You always
for
have my
a
approval.
brain scan.
Always.
Good. And I am going to begin to do brain scan. Big old brain scan.
Give me a reason and medicine roll. Let's see. I'll just have this be your own. I will have this be with just you on this, Kresik.
Alrighty. Can I take a momentum for an extra die?
Certainly, certainly.
Alright, so that's 3. I'd imagine one of my focuses applies here.
I think that something could work. Paranormal
Sweet.
activity, for example.
I doubt it. Increase the complication range by 2. Alright, 3 dice. Reason medicine. Difficulty?
Difficulty on this task. I'm going to keep this one at 2 as well. Just earn some momentum.
Beautiful. That means we're going to need it. That's scary.
Okay, if I'm correct, what is that? 4 successes with the talent, or does it double all the dice?
It increases each by 1.
Okay, so that would then be a total of 7 successes. So definitely well out of the water there.
Fills me up.
Yep, that will give you 3 points of floating, 3 points of momentum to refill your pool, and 4 to float. Kresik, there are undoubtedly, I'd say there are certainly signs of there's certainly signs of stress. Like a lot of those hormones are presently in our system right now. And also the possibility of some inflammation around the brain, like around sinuses and whatnot, so probably a fair bit of a headache. Some other neural activities a little more... It's strange in a way that you have kind of come to expect. Elevated levels of a certain compound that you know might be framing with certain traits that she has, but chiefly a compound you know as silanine, which is roughly corresponding, I think, to a psi rating of sorts. But this is not without precedent with previous scans, I think, that we've done in the past with her.
So other than inflammation, nothing out of the ordinary. Hello?
Let me.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, momentary issue with the mic. I'm just having to get that reset here just to make sure that's
Gotcha.
all good. I mean, it would be. There are probably other signs of the. There are other signs of the trauma. Let's see. There are prolonged signs of other sort of. There's some physical tolls that have. Trying to think of how to place this. A lot of it, I think, at the end of the day, Kresic, is just a lot of stress type hormones that are coming into play, and you realize that in Woe's case, at least some of this comes from things that these sensors aren't going to tell you, particularly the mental and emotional scarring that comes with this. This is unquestionably adding some difficulty.
Okay. She's gonna finish the scans. Physically, there is minor inflammation, perhaps caused by stress or poor sleep.
All right. I figured as much, but it just hits so suddenly.
How are you?
I'm not great. Thanks for asking. Better than I was, though. She scrunches her nose whenever she talks. Like she's telling a silly joke, but she's not. How are you? How's everything been? How's life? Are you living, son?
First off, I am old enough to be 15 times your grandfather.
And you don't look a day over 2. She strokes his face weirdly. Alright, what's second off then?
I have been concerned.
Okay.
Physically, wounds heal, but there are lasting effects that I have no power to aid. I am not conversation has never been my strong suit. And we do not have any here to help with that.
Well, Doc, if you needed a therapist, you could have just asked. I'm hardly skilled.
I'm not talking about myself.
I know you're not talking about yourself. Sometimes a little bit of levity can kill anybody.
We both know I am not funny.
You say that, but you make me laugh the most out of us. Well, she hops up off the table. I think that's all I needed. There's not much else we can do for now. She gives him a big smile that is a little too tight on the edges.
I
always.
can administer something to deal with the inflammation, if you would like.
Will it slow me down?
No. I'm not that poor of a physician.
Never said you were. Just asking for clarification. Alright.
Of course. He loads something into his hypo,
She bares her neck.
injects it. It's just a mild pain reliever, space Advil.
Space Advil. As always, thank you for letting me come to your humble abode, Doc. And with that, she struts out, looking for the captain.
I have 4 floating momentum.
Do you want? Is there anything you want to do with it before
Yes.
the scene ends? Describe.
I want. Oh yeah, go ahead, please.
Describe what you want to do as Woe is set to walk out.
I want to have applied a brainwave monitor on her. When I injected her.
You
with
sneaky
the
sneakerton.
Space Advil.
Oh, so rude.
Fantastic.
Because I did receive her permission.
Yes, I know you did. You were very clear about that.
I don't know if this is quite informed consent, but I guess we'll roll with it here. So let's see. We will.
If that requires all 4 to make it happen, I will spend all 4 to make it happen.
I think for an advantage like that would usually just take the 2. It is a beneficial scene trait, as it were. But I'm going to say the monitor is something that, because it was just improvised, and it's of a small enough size, you would probably need to be at closer range, that is to say, in the same room or scene, in order to check that out. If you want something broadcasting further, then I will take all 4.
Then yes, I would like it to be one that I can monitor from the safety of my office.
Oh my god. Lazy
I'm
man.
not. He's old, okay?
He's not
His
that old.
arthritis bothers him sometimes.
Wow, you just gave him arthritis. He did not have.
Correction, he has on his character sheet a trait called limp, okay?
Doesn't mean arthritis. That means limping. Different.
How do you think he got it? It's the arthritis. I'm just kidding. He doesn't have arthritis. But
I know!
yes, because I would have gotten 3 additional from my roll. And then I have talent. Diagnostic expertise, which says that when I succeed at a medicine task to identify and diagnose the nature of a medical problem, I gain 1 bonus momentum for every d20 that I bought by spending momentum, which can only be used to obtain information or create advantage. So that gives me the 4 floating momentum that I need.
Fair enough.
Little piece of old school experimental Gorn tech.
Alright. Let's do this!
Alright. Yep, so, you set off then, with monitor and maybe a little analgesic or anti-inflammatory in your system. Hopefully something a little helpful. Excuse me now. Something a little helpful.
And then as soon as she leaves, he walks to the door, looks outside, and seals the medical lab from the inside.
Paranoid.
He does not want to be distracted.
Good lord.
Okay. So as Karesic moves off to keep an eye on his surreptitiously placed transmitter, we head up to the captain's quarters then. T-Buck, this may be more, like, well, I guess question would be, would you have taken Woe's request to meet in your quarters, or would you decide that it'd be better to have her down in the computer core, since I will tell you right now, you are having a devil of a time trying to figure out exactly where the problem is. This is, it has gotten to the point where you are doing the most tedious version of the work possible out of necessity, because there is no simple answer for why the computer system is not working to the specifications that you kept them, and to the standards you would expect Raldar to have done as well.
It's probably going to get down to the point of pulling isolinear rods and then just finding which one stops the problem.
Yep. So would you decide?
So I'm going to be down there until I'm going to be down there until I fix the goddamn thing.
Gotcha. So, well, we'll say that the message sent back, relayed by Vo Price, says something to the effect of, the captain is preoccupied, but if you want to meet him on the computer core, it would be accessible, I believe, through the subdeck. It would take some crawling, though. It would be cramped, but he would be willing to meet you that way.
No, I'll just wait in his room. Thank you, Oprah. And as soon as she climbs off, she immediately goes to the subdeck to go see the captain.
No, all right. So, we'll set this down on the. We'll set this in the theater of the mind, because I do not have a computer core set. Taybach, you are knee deep in you're knee deep in processors as you are checking through each individual setup as to exactly what this could be. Still unresponsive. The door to the access way from the subdeck opens, and I imagine having to hunch down a little bit more than usual. Refresh my memory here, Sean. What's the subdeck corridor? Is that shorter than the usual decks, or is it basically the equivalent of another normal corridor leading up here?
It's the subdeck itself has actually got a overall lower head height. Along the neck for the subdeck is also basically a transit path for photon torpedoes from the magazine, which is at the base of the neck, to transfer them to the launcher at the front. And it's sort of flanked on either side by EPS conduits to power the forward disruptors, as well as the big data trunk, which runs through there as well to the rest of the ship.
I gotcha. So, from what I'm seeing from the reference map, it is something that can be accessed from from the subdeck, like going from the lift there to the to just below the bridge where the computer core is. But Woe's probably having to crouch down even more than usual lest she bump her head.
Correct. I just took the short path through the access hatch, because everything is right there. You've got the computer core, the front landing, the articulated landing leg, and the photon torpedo launcher. That whole section is very crowded.
And just to clarify, is the launcher segment is actually accessible from that forward room, or is it is it something where that there is? I'm just trying to wrap my head around this now, which is a strange thing for me as the GM to do in the middle of this. But to go from the computer core to the torpedo magazine, I'm just trying to understand. Is it something that you could?
There's no forward magazine. There's just a launcher in the front.
Okay.
And so the launcher is underneath the computer core.
Gotcha. So
and then the articulated landing leg is under the launcher.
Gotcha. So you could
It's,
probably like
it's the computer core of this ship is not that big.
I
It's not
didn't.
like a Federation ship that where it takes up 3 or 4 decks.
So basically, to access the torpedoes, it would be pull up the deck plate, and you could see it running through. Like, if you got through that, like the proper panel. I'd imagine that there's some.
Right. It's sort of an anti-gravity feed along the neck for the photon torpedoes, and they get to the right spot and basically just go plunk, fall. They go down into the launcher. So
Okay, I gotcha. The more you know, everyone.
I didn't design the dang thing. That's just how they do it.
Yeah. So, Woe, you hunch down to a height where you have had a number of close calls um, with the like the low clearance. You find Tabak at work with an engineering kit and the computer core, trying to affect different systems and see if something's happened. I'd say Tabak, you're hopeful on one access point, and it disappoints you immediately. It's like the what you had thought should be the problem is not there. So, heartfelt
Good
explanation.
shot.
There we go.
All right. Calm down with the language, Captain. No one needs to hear that.
Somebody does. I at least need to say it. Otherwise, I'm going to be chewing my own teeth. How goes the search?
Pitiful. We have not found anything. It's a little bit disconcerting, to say the very least. How goes the nightmare down here? She eyes the computer core with some sense of fascination.
I cannot root out the problem with the internal sensors. It doesn't appear to be a mechanical issue. It is something with the computer. And so I am tearing apart this beast piece by piece until I find the error so that I can repair it and we can move on.
She watches as he pulls out more isolinear tips, picking them up between two claws. Yeah, I don't pretend to know all this stuff, but I feel like if anyone can do it, you can.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. She walks up to him and wraps her arms around him like she's hugging him, basically. She's hugging him. She rests her head over the top of his head. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry you're so stressed out. You don't deserve to be stressed out.
It's quite all right. Whoa. This is a little unusual, but okay.
A little unusual, but okay is my middle name. She smiles against his head. She gives him a nuzzle and does not let go. Just holds him for a little bit. And you'll notice her hold starts to increase. And it's getting a bit painful for you now.
Whoa. I'm trying to fix this and I cannot breathe.
Well, give me a control plus command roll, difficulty of 4.
Let's see. I would like to roll. I'd like to buy an additional dice by giving you a threat, if possible.
Oh, you can give me a point of threat. You actually rolled 3 dice there, but so I wasn't going to count that. But yes, if you would give me the, I will take the GM accepts your point of threat and go ahead and roll.
And it's a 2.
I was saying roll me 3 dice all over again. I'm not
Oh.
counting the one rolled by mistake.
Sorry.
Okay,
Crap.
that is 2 successes. So,
Dang.
not quite enough. But yeah, you hear the captain's plea, Woe, and you realize, hey, you're overdoing it a little bit. You might be recovering still, but you got to know your own strength, and you got to be careful. These are you don't want to break things, especially not your friends.
She starts to pull away. I'm sorry, Captain. Yes, I'll miss you so much. Even here, it's like I still miss you. It's weird.
Sean has his windpipe crushed and has been muted.
Oh no!
The damage has been done.
I pushed the dang button. I missed you too, Woe, and we would never have left you, as we just took so damn long to find where they were keeping you.
Big, fat, salty tears splash down his face. She is not fully let go, but she has loosened her grip.
Yeah, there's a
You are my friend. You are my compatriot. You are my shipmate.
She nods and then pulls away.
there's a nice ring to it, but at the same time, there's some part that can't help but feel like excuses. There's a weird disconcerting feeling, Whoa. And as your eyes meet Tabok, or meet with Tabok's, as is the momentary break in the work, peering from around the other side of the computer core is an all too familiar face.
No. Captain, get away from me now. Captain, move! And she goes to grab the captain and pull him away from her.
Let's see who gets there first.
You think he could have moved a little bit faster? Don't you agree? Didn't he say he took on the sides? Hmm? How many do you think he took on while you suffered? Let's see. Where is my sheet? I just saw it. There it is. All right. What am I rolling, dear GM?
Well, you are rolling a. You would be rolling a. I'm going to say, let's make this a fitness plus. Or no, actually, this would be more daring plus security.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to use that point of threat that you gave me to help out here.
Okay.
Roll a third die.
Okay.
Ooh, 4 successes will beat your 2. As she lunges out and grabs Tabok from behind, her arms quickly moving to crush the windpipe that you might have inadvertently pressured with your embrace.
Oh, the nightmare mirrors that embrace from earlier. She has her arms fully around him and is resting at the top of her head over his head. And she mimics Woe. Oh, Captain, I just missed you so much. You're pathetic. You've never stopped being pathetic. Only I can make you stronger. Only I can rescue you from this living hell you created yourself. And she goes to crush the captain even more.
Let's see about rolling damage on this.
You're gonna fight against that.
What's that?
Gonna fight against that.
Sean, give me a fitness and security as you try to break out.
Someone's gonna have to roll dice for me again. I'm stuck on my phone
Okay, let me
because my computer is still messed up. I apologize.
Yep. Tabak, do you want to try and bearing in mind that you are being crushed by something incredibly powerful as Woe tried to get to you, but something has pulled you away faster than her, and she looks terrified. Any words you want to try and rasp out as you try to break free?
Again, I did mention the fact that I hadn't closed the hatch up to the bridge, so it's going to be whoa. What? Help!
As I expend 2 points of threat to, well, let's see. No, I'll actually keep those. That there is some signs of some scrambling on the bridge, as there's some confusion. Unfortunately, at this point, the only people fast enough are. Vopry's a little too shy, and Azik is just a little bit far away to get there terribly fast. That being said, Woe, you watch as the... let's see. Let me roll for Tabak here. That's what I was doing first. So Tabak is going to attempt to break out as he just barely rasps out the call for your name. I will spend 1 more point of threat to buy the extra die. So this will be to maintain the grapple or immobilization here.
Would you like an extra point for an extra die, Captain? Would you like an extra 3 points for an extra 2 die?
Please.
Okay. I got you.
Okay. Yeah. Tabak, this can either be you can attempt to break out or you can attempt to attack, Mechlith on hand that you have. The different, I think you said you wanted to try and break out?
Yep.
Okay, and purchasing 3 additional dice with I think that would be all the momentum, or were you just...
No, we're just doing 2 additional dice
Okay,
for a total of 4 dice.
All right, let me just correct the counts here. So.
Also, if you have a value to apply, Captain, now would be the time.
A value or a...
Spend a determination to trigger a value.
Oh, I think the only one that would work would be I will die, but I will not die stupidly.
I don't... Okay.
He will not be hung to death. We know people love Tabak, but that's too much. Too much.
I will not be snuggled to death.
I don't quite think it works, because this is not a function of your stupidity, but rather a
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. It was a stretch, no pun intended.
Yeah. So I think I am...
Okay, pun fully intended.
As Tabak just barely loosens his grasp just enough for a breath, the figure before you, Woe, finds this tiresome as this puny Klingon struggles and just goes in for the full crush, the full crush and probably neck twist. So, expending since I've already dropped the 2 points of threat relative to what you guys see, I'm just going to say one of those goes into an extra die, and the other goes in for a lethal move, which, Tabak, you may contest as well.
I'll contest. Absolutely, I will contest.
All right, daring plus security. This will be a melee task.
Would you like another die? Would you like me to spend another point of momentum to get another die?
Yes, please.
I got you.
Tabak, you roll in an effort to attack. That is, oh no!
Oh god.
That's a Tabak attack roll.
That is
I've
the
ever seen
most
one.
Tabak attack I've ever seen.
Are they all bright red zeros?
They are
Thankfully
all
not.
they are all zeros.
You did
If they
not
were all
compli-
bright red zeros, then it would be over.
Yeah, so Tabak, that was a 15, an 18, and a 19. Jeez. So you didn't complicate, but you didn't beat 2 successes from the other side, which means I will go back and earn 2 points of threat. That track also puts you down to 2 points of momentum. Let's see, get those up to date. Tabak, you go for your mek'leth and you go in for a slash. The hand is immediately caught, and very swiftly, the other fist grasps at your, or rather, the other hand grasps at your throat, and with a speed and strength that is almost beyond comprehension, bone crackles. You hear, let's see. So I roll for the unarmed strike. That is 4 points. No, that'd be 5 points with vicious. Technically, Tabak usually wears armor, so I'm going to spend another point of threat to re-roll. The remaining 3 challenge dice there.
Man,
Okay.
the GM wants to kill us.
Yeah, there's 2 points of there should be 2 points of resistance for the armor.
Okay, well, I at any rate managed to get an additional 5 points of stress on there.
Oh,
So that's,
I think that's more than enough.
yep, that is a lethal injury as Tabak's neck snaps and cracks and falls down to the ground. The nightmare begins. This dreadful thing, begins pulling at the deck plating. Or, do you think that she has any words to say?
When Tabak hits the ground, so does Woe, and she is trying so hard to catch his limp body. Yeah, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up! Oh, shut up. She stands, That's enough of that. And then she stands on the captain's throat, trying to crush the noise out of his windpipe. Because she is not vibing with that sound at all. Both of you quit making noise. Help me get him up. It's the least you can do. He's holding the arms of the captain whose throat is currently being stood on. Why? Why are you like this? There's no other way to be. She smiles back at Woe. Help me get him up. I've got an idea. And let's see. They stuff his body into the proton torpedo.
Let's cut for a moment to the bridge where, by the rasped nature of the attempted call, it's not entirely certain what's going on, or there's a little difficult for some to hear. Azek himself is a little bit. I don't imagine Azek is he's probably lost a little bit of hearing over time. As many battles as he's
it doesn't help that if there's nobody important on the bridge besides Azek and Vopri, we're jamming out to some Klingon
Oh god,
opera.
I forgot Azek runs Klingon classic rock.
Oh God,
This is a,
perfect.
Not to be confused with the K-pop crap they threw at us in Strange New Worlds. This is real Klingon music.
Oh my God.
yep. Azek is in the midst of singing like to its highest level, but as the at this moment the Cheshire actually hops off the seat and seems to like runs basically a lap from the hatch and zooms around to the front. Azek, it's unusual to see Cheshire take a sudden move from the console.
What's up, little one? I look down at the cat.
You just barely hear over the as the music enters a bit of a lull, say during an instrumental solo of some sort. The I would say the the disdainful like sound, maybe even a hiss as this seems like a very grumpy forest cat. Over the noise too, you hear Voprak going, Azek, Azek. Did you fire?
No.
Bahan wakes up.
I turned down the music. What fire what?
We just launched the torpedo launcher fired off, but there was nothing loaded in the magazine. Signs of. I'm detecting a biological sign. We've. Oh no.
What is it, buddy? What's going on? And I'll go over to his station and take a look.
Vopri actually sets on the visual to magnify on on what ought to have been a torpedo that you just fired out, and you see, shooting out against the silhouetted darkness, freezing quickly with the and skin beginning to bubble as it has departed a pressurized environment, the body of your captain, Tabok. And I think that's where we're going to leave off.
Oh, darn it.
Wait, no, wait. You have a line here. Go ahead.
Ezek's first thought was, yes, finally a promotion. And then, oh shit! And then he takes off towards the transporter controls.
And I think
Terrible.
I think we're gonna leave it off there for tonight.
Oh, goody. We're gonna leave with the murder of the ship's captain. Okay.
I think it's appropriate, honestly.
Yep.
Is this where we get Majel Barrett's voice going, to be continued?
Yeah, it will be continued at some point, but we will come back with this next week. Until then, folks, we hope you enjoyed in the archives, and I am sorry you had to wait as long for the archives to get up to date, but we've gotten things fixed. If you ever want to join us live, we run these games on twitch.tv/GM in the Great Barrier. Links are in the description of the video, on our socials. We hope that you enjoyed tonight, and that you join us again next week. Until then, we'll see you around.